December 2010. Long Island, New York. Police were searching for a missing sex worker named Shannon Gilbert along Ocean Parkway, just east of Gilgo Beach. What they found instead would open a case that spanned over a decade and would ultimately expose one of New York's most disturbing serial murder investigations. During that initial search, officers stumbled upon the skeletal remains of a young woman wrapped in burlap. 3 more bodies were found within the next 2 days. All 4 women were petite, in their 20s, and had worked as escorts. Their remains had been left in similar fashion, close to one another along a stretch of marshland. Authorities quickly came to suspect a serial killer. The victims, Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes, would later be referred to as the Gilgo Four. Over the following months, 10 more sets of remains were discovered in the area. The cases became known as the Gilgo Beach murders. Some of the victims were dismembered. Some had been missing for years. But despite the scale of the discovery, no arrests were made for over a decade. Then, in 2022, the case was reactivated. A special task force was assembled. They revisited old phone records, reprocessed physical evidence with updated DNA technology, and analyzed cell tower data that had originally been dismissed. That's when one name started to emerge: Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old architect from Massapequa Park, just 18 miles from Gilgo Beach. Married, 2 kids. He ran a successful Manhattan architecture firm and lived a seemingly average life. But cell tower records placed Heuermann near the areas where several victims had vanished. Police also discovered that burner phones used to contact 3 of the victims were activated near his office and home. In 2023, investigators covertly collected a discarded pizza crust from Heuermann. DNA from that crust matched genetic material found on one of the victims' remains, specifically a hair trapped inside the burlap wrapping. In July 2023, Heuermann was arrested outside his Midtown office. Following his arrest, authorities executed a search warrant at his Long Island home. They uncovered a hidden room containing over 200 firearms, burner phones, and a cache of disturbing internet searches related to torture, abduction, and murder. Police also found a digital document titled Body Prep, which included instructions for cleaning, transporting, and disposing of human remains. In court, Heuermann was charged with the murders of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. In early 2024, a 4th charge was added for the murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Then, in December 2024, prosecutors formally linked him to the deaths of Jessica Taylor, Sandra Castilla, and Valerie Mack, bringing the total number of charges to 7. All victims were either sex workers or associated with that world. Several were dismembered. Some had body parts found in completely different locations, years apart, like Valerie Mack, whose torso was found in Manorville in 2000 and whose limbs were recovered near Gilgo Beach in 2011. As of June 2025, Rex Heuermann remains in custody without bail. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. His attorneys have requested separate trials for each case. Prosecutors, however, are pushing to consolidate all 7 murder charges into one trial, citing consistent methods and patterns. A Fry hearing is scheduled to determine whether the DNA methods used to match Heuermann's hair to the evidence are admissible in court. The trial is expected to begin sometime in late 2025 or early 2026. No additional charges have been filed in connection to the other bodies found in the Gilgo Beach area, though police have confirmed the investigation remains active. On the evening of June 10, 2023, a 16th birthday party was underway at a residence on Eastfield Avenue in Bath. Approximately 50 to 60 individuals, predominantly teenagers, were in attendance. Among the guests was 16-year-old Mikey Roynon, an aspiring drill rapper from Kingswood who had traveled to Bath with friends after learning about the party through social media. During the event, an altercation occurred in the property's back garden. In the ensuing confrontation, Mikey was fatally stabbed in the back of the neck with a large knife. Emergency services were called, but despite their efforts, Mikey was pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation led by Avon and Somerset police identified 3 teenage boys, Shane Cunningham, Cartel Bushnell, and Leo Knight, as suspects. CCTV footage revealed the trio traveling from Wiltshire to Bath earlier that day, with images showing them carrying concealed items believed to be knives. Following the incident, the suspects fled the scene and were later seen on CCTV disposing of their weapons. All 3 were arrested and charged in connection with Mikey's death. The trial commenced at Bristol Crown Court in early 2024. Shane Cunningham admitted to stabbing Mikey, but claimed self-defense, a defense the jury rejected. On March 7, 2024, Cunningham was found guilty of murder. His accomplices, Bushnell and Knight, were found guilty of manslaughter. On May 3, 2024, the court lifted reporting restrictions, allowing the identification of the 3 defendants. Sentencing was as follows. Shane Cunningham, life detention with a minimum term of 16 years before eligibility for parole. Cartel Bushnell, 9 years detention with eligibility for parole after serving 2/3 of the sentence. Leo Knight, 9 years and 6 months detention with eligibility for parole after serving 2/3 of the sentence. The judge, Mr. Justice Saini, highlighted the severity of the crime and the broader issue of knife violence among youth. As of June 2025, all 3 individuals remain in custody, serving their respective sentences.